welcome this bright, Sunday, windy Saturday morning, April 26, 2025, in the beautiful jewel of Belize, coastal communities, the length of the country. I am Sister Yaya Marine Coleman, the chairperson of United Black Association for Development Educational Foundation, and we are in partnership with Belize Federation of Fishers, BFF, who represents hundreds of fishers in Belize, being represented by Executive Director Breddah Nigel Martinez. Morning, Breddah Nigel.
Hey, morning, sis.
And this morning, this is our fourth, I don't excited, make I calm myself down. This is our fourth Belize Bluebonn Awareness Zoom community meeting. Why? Because when the government of Belize signed the Bluebonn Agreement with the Nature Conservancy late 2021, they never have no prior public awareness campaign. So all Belizeans would have knowledge about what they're going to sign we have to. And there was a lot of secrecy, and there's still unanswered questions. So in the interest of primarily fishers, UEF and BFF get together, and once a month for the entire year of 2025, we'd have community conversations so we could learn more about the Belize Bluebonn. Because we won't have to pay it back for the next 19 years, and Belize don't go on track record of being in default. But I guarantee you this, if we go in a default, the financial penalty we have to pay, because the International DFC, Development Finance Corporation, the International Development Bank for the United States, they make sure they have one political insurance for 610 million US dollars, will insure the principal and the interest. And then they still could come back and get money from Belize, but that's a 2 cents. Really, it's about the fishers. So we have two fishers today. One, and again, challenging time for guitar, but don't worry about nothing. They are the star. The fishers are Brother Guillermo, Carillo, all the way from Barranco. You see the egg, right? You know, hammer. Morning, brother fisherman.
Morning.
You all right?
Yes.
How do we down the Barranco this morning?
Windy and breeze. Windy, a lot of breeze.
You're in your hammock. Life good right now.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, the next fisher where they have some technical difficulties, that brother Densfield, Augustine, and he from the Garifuna community as same bite. So Barranco and Barranco and same bite are Garifuna communities, southern Belize on the coast, one in the Stan Creek district, one in the Toledo district. So one of the first things I want to ask brother Guillermo, tell me if anything what you know about the Belize Bluebonn. Anything we know, or if you don't know nothing.
Well, yes, I know that they do this 30% more conservation, and I know that's an organization they receive money. Well, that's what I know. Yep.
All right, and when you find this out, or how you find this out, that because part of the agreement, and Nigel, you could jump in anytime, part of the agreement, so it's called a debt for nature swap. Belize that the first guinea pig, right? Then the one that seashells, but the seashells one different farm, it's called a debt for nature swap. So the country owe one lot of money from what we call the super bond, which is a euro bond. It's an external commercial debt. Belize me owe in US dollars, they may owe over 500 and how much, Nigel? 53 million US dollars? Nigel, help me out. We're supposed to know this by now.
Yes.
553 million US dollars in US dollars.
Yeah.
And then the government of Belize, through the largest conservation organization in the world, the Nature Conservancy, make an agreement and then gone and borrow 364 million US dollars. So when I subtract the $364 million from the 553 million US dollars, you have a remainder of 189 million US dollars. So then they say that this is a deal because remember we owe 553 million US. But because Belize never pay the people in what they owe, the people and say, listen, rather we not get nothing, we and take 45 cents to every dollar. Instead of dollar for dollar, we and take 145 cents to the dollar. And with that, they shave off like $189 million. But in exchange, then Belize had to agree to some conservation milestones. And one of them is that 30% of the ocean of Belize will now be protected. What it mean, Brother Guillermo, when you hear that they want increase the protected area, the marine spatial plan? What that mean for an official like you? And tell me how you even find out that changes that happen from the water.
Well, um, I the last time I got to a meeting here in Fijira when I get to know either near me and near there while I fishing and I could may understand it. I'll leave it there. But before that, I just may feel like they just made it try to do a next area and stuff. But now they get close here to me, and that's for me here. And
Okay.
yeah, and so I don't know how more they do it or how far it is going more than.
But how that one impact what part you fish and how you fish? By them protecting more of Belize ocean space, because at up to 30%. Now then decide for the 30% before the world gone by that 30 by 30. Then decide for the 30%. They don't reach the 30% coverage already, Nigel? That date for that benchmark done pass, that
No,
milestone done
no,
pass?
no. There are 25%. The 30% should be completed by next year, 2026. Milestone 6. Right now, we're just approaching milestone 5, which is the coastal zone management plan. That has to be implemented by November, the 4th of November of this year. And by next year, the 4th November 2026, that's when the 30% has to be implemented across the board.
Okay, so this is how I need to understand for you. Nigeria might want to check in with Brother Augustine and find out what happened at the time. This is how I need to understand for you, Brother Guillermo. How
Uh-huh.
long you the fish?
Hmm. Well, I know the all my life, but I go with pan small, so all my life, miss.
Your people in the fishers?
Yeah, third generation fisherman.
Third generation fisherman. So,
Yeah. Yep.
what you see different when you go upon the water now from when you were younger and was go with the other two generations or one generation before you? What different when you go to water now?
Well, before it was we don't have to go far. It was a lot of fish, but now, I have to go far and then it's just leave it. It's only because the difference is again is the price, of course. Doing at a you have to be so right. The price different and it's less fish, though. That's all. Yeah.
So since you have to go further, the more fuel you have to pay for and the cost of fuel gone
Yep.
up.
Yep.
You stay longer the water when you go further.
Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah, I had to just come home just like to visit. I have more in the sea than home. Yeah.
So I know fisher folks now have one zone where that the part you have for fish, right?
Yeah. They got
So the zone where you the fish right now, that I mean the zone where your family does fish before they tell you you only go fish in the zone.
well they got seasonal way out and right now me I just think I'm right here. I don't go out. I never go out from here far or number 4. Yeah.
So what zone you go fish in right now? Four,
4
I'm
and
in
5.
a 4 and 5.
4 and 5. Yeah.
And 4 and 5, they were part as it relates to Barranco. Close to Barranco, how far out from
Yeah.
Barranco?
Right, right at Barranco number five is after PG, so that's the farthest I go.
And how you just go further before, like when I'm younger, your family does go further than that before?
Yeah, yeah. They used to go where to after Belize. I mean, used to go when I'm in ten at first. I got after Belize. Some Salt Lake. Not even could go right now if I could go by myself. Yeah, that's far. Yeah, we took like from 6 o'clock and reach here after afternoon in our 15 horsepower. So imagine that that was a long trip, a whole day trip.
But
But
you,
now I don't go far.
when you go
Yeah.
by yourself or you carry somebody, Joe?
No, always the two, miss. Most of the time the two person.
Most time a two-person. And when you
Yeah.
go, how long you go for? How much days you go for?
For example, me, I go from 2 o'clock and I come in the evening every day. That's the reason I say I like come and or sometimes I stay for two and just come home and just pass by. Yeah, yeah.
But,
Most of
but
the time, not 2 days.
2 days.
Mm-hmm.
But one other thing I wanted to add, sis, just like Guillermo, there are many fishers out there who were not given an opportunity to voice their concern over these marine protected areas increase and how that is affecting their livelihood and what that means for their future. And I think that that's one of the biggest challenge of this whole Blue Bond campaign, where that there were no awareness for fisher folks, for fishing communities, for people to voice their concern. It was just a top-down approach. And that's one of the challenges that the Federation have and continue to have with the process. And we're going to continue to push back so that the narrative can change. Because at the end of the day, you cannot expect to have compliance um, in a situation where there were no education process. So just like Guillermo and Sailor and many other fishers who are struggling right now because they are faced with a system, a top-down approach system that do not recognize their rights, that do not appreciate their livelihood and their ability to provide for their families. But it's just what the state is going to make. So we have a pushback on against the government as well as TNC, because we continue to believe that the approach that they took did not took into consideration our fisher folks.
I do wait for Sailor. Sailor,
Yes, I'm here.
morning, morning. You make it, brother.
Morning, morning.
They're that same bite.
Yeah, sun,
I hear
sea,
you. How long?
coconut
I hear
trees.
you. How long are the fish, brother?
I just come back to it 4 years now. I've been doing it when I was younger, but left to Belize City High School, employment, the whole 9 yards, and now retired. I'm back home now, picking up where I left off and trying to make a difference. Um, and of course, I have a big up BFF for picking up our plights and shoving it forward and helping us working out, try to work out things to make we better off the lives of fishermen.
Your people and our fishers traditionally?
Traditionally, the entire village is seeing bite our fishers. We are never much of farmers because if you see the thin strip of land we have here, we don't have that much option for farm. So everything we surrounded by by the sea. We got to the east we have the sea and the back we have the lagoon. So we're surrounded by waters, by marine life. So traditionally that is what we know and that is what we live off of. Well, of course, now things have changed. The influx of tourism, I have additional thing that comes up. But as Jah has created, what he created will always stay, which means that we live off of the land, we live off of the sea, and that will always there no matter where job come forth. So we have to protect this.
What percentage same bite folks the fishers? Because I think over the years, we have less fishers, right?
Definitely we have less fishers over the years because, um, like I said, everybody may start. The fishing was not really an industry. It was just a way of living. Um, you live an easy life because, like I said, back in the day, you could have just throw a fishing line right off of the beach, and you could have your food could get meat for the day. So it was that's why I always sing this song that we were fishing sustainably from time immemorial. So now it's gone mass, and now it becomes a means of livelihood, real livelihood, because now you have to find food for your house and also find money to pay your bills. So, and fishing is one of the avenues that we have to embrace to do that. There's a very minimal amount of fishermen, but now, as the president of the newly found Sea and Bite Fishers Association, we are trying to direct that as a real alternative that has been there before even tourism. So we want to make people embrace it because then it is lucrative, but just that, we have to fight to keep it that way because at the end of the day, we go through some really jagged edges and rough edges. We look to take that away from us.
Now, let's be clear that fishing, like you said, on way of life because it's cultural for Garifuna people, for Garifuna communities.
Definitely,
Uno and the sea go hand in hand. That the kinfolk, that the real relative, natural relative that is sea.
you
Which
said it
is why most Garifuna communities depend on the coast.
exactly.
Mm-hmm. So what I want to ask you and brother Guillermo, what the phone of fishing practices we want to use for fish? How much fish you know get so when you go out?
Well, for me, I will say this. Guillermo, I know Guillermo Cortes. You have to love it. One, and most importantly, for us here, we hand fish. It's traditionally that's the way we fish. Um, and when we hand fish, there is minimal, there is minimal negative impact on the reef or on the marine system, because you could get a small fish on a hand line and you could throw that back and it will live. You understand me? So that are the best practice ever. A lot of people don't have the patience for it because sometimes, it's a more manual labor. You work harder, but it's the best way because and Guillermo Cortes, when you fishing out there and you catch a prize fish, it's like you win $1 million for any fisherman. You know, and if you get to a fire, that like your fishing trip practically look for spile. And just that personal challenge. These little things are things where real fishermen appreciate. And like I said, well, a lot of we fishermen, we have been fishing sustainably because, as a matter of fact, again, I have to call for you, Guillermo, because when we were boats who catch the biggest fish, so when the least small one, we hurry through that back. you know. So these simple things really just enhance what fishermen are all about, and those people, the powers that be, that are the decision making people, are to really um, understand what this means to us. Okay, just for run competition, who gets the biggest fish. I hide when you throw back the small one because you don't want to know you catch the smallest one. you know. So I mean, that's a simple thing, but we take pride in it. We take pride in it.
What you gonna say, Guillermo? You know that competition business too and how you wanna get the leaf fish? Or throw it back?
Yeah, yeah, the brother is saying the truth, and yes, it's like, like I did talk, that is same, yeah, but like if I don't go like halfway in my back, so I say I will catch a 2 3 bar and I going home in the sun too hot. So that's where brother is say, yeah. So and then the biggest fish, where go well, the one where go are the biggest fish. So tomorrow I will come back with.
Yeah.
Well, that is life.
Well,
Really,
in a
really.
song like one of the fish for get pounds of fish for sell. It sound like only they go out for fish for feeding the family, and if you don't got enough for that day, maybe give the family extended family sell to the neighbors. But what I mean, I don't know the difference between fishers because like when we go to a fish market that Belizean brother go catch fish for con sell. So I don't know if then the fish by line or everything the line and the fish when you go buy fish that fish market Nigeria, you to shake your head, yes.
Yes, yes, man.
Yes.
Brother,
Definitely,
you know how
definitely.
long that take?
No, Sister Yaya, one of the thing
Ah,
is that for one, and this is where it gets more serious because, like for us fishers like me and Guillermo, we love it out there, so it becomes fun. It becomes fun. But what has happened now is that there's a market for it now, and there's a demand for it now, and also a demand to make a living. So it just easy for us to make it appear as we are fishing for fun, but as we are, yes, but of course we try and make more money. But a lot of these fishermen, it gets serious now because a lot of these fishermen go 2 3 days weeks at a time to make that quota so that they can survive because fishing is expensive, the gas expensive, so it's a very expensive thing to hold up. So but when you really love it, you don't really feel it, but it's expensive, and we have to be out there 2 3 days weeks sometimes so that we could meet the quota, and it hurt the pockets when we lose. But then again, we take it light as if we're rich because that's something what we love to do. But they're not like we don't get hurt. We get hurt.
make I ask Guillermo and come back and ask Sailor. One, if we don't own an own boat, and two, run some numbers so we make we hear that how much it costs. Like, okay, let's say 3 years ago you buy a boat for, I have to make up numbers, right? $10,000. And once a year you have to pull it up for maintenance, and another one additional $3,000. And every time you go to sea, you have to come up with $2,000 for 3 days. So like what are your expenses that say for the month, and then you look for how much you did bring in. You did broke even, you did lose. You were like, man, I have to do something else besides catch fish. I know my brother fast saying by sail I retire, but my brother Guillermo, this is for him bread and butter, so he have to go out. Talk to me about the everyday choices and the expenses you don't have. Guillermo and then Sailor.
Yeah, well, it's true. That's why sometimes I register my boat for some charters because yeah, like how you say, when the engine have to service, and yes, for buy a boat it's about that $9,000 to $10,000 if that 23 or 21. It goes a little bit up if the 23 and so, but one of the thing I you say is that some people they don't want the stuff, and then they go with another person with the one who want it, and then they get less, right? Like I could say that brother where in the meeting, he want it and I want me one thing, so it make it easy for us in that sense that we could go with quota, we know what we do, right? We are saving money for when the engine broke down, or when we want to change a new boat, I mean. Yes, it's very challenging, like how you said that if I don't make at least $200-300, or you're ready for go home, but if you're there with the next person, but you can't do that. You have to stay until you got your amount of fish for come. That's what I could say. Yeah.
How about you, Sailor?
Well, uh, starting back with the fishing industry, since 4 years now, it was basically dormant. So I came in um, with to revive it back with Fishers of Sea and Bite. There are like 21 of us now, and counting. Thank God, in opposed to last year or so when we only had like 12 or between 12 and 15. But definitely, owning your own boat is a plus. It's definitely a plus. For me, I I am partial owner of a boat. We share the expenses, and not only that, I try put in I try put in that sense of uh, in my crew. I try to let them know that they too are stakeholders, in the sense that if you if you make our money, like we go out fishing today, and you make we spend our 2 days, and you make our $400, $500, $600, whatever the case may be. um Take at least 200 out of that, or maybe 150, and invest in the next trip. And then when that next trip come back, then you get back your 150 where you invest, plus what you work for. So this is training them how to regulate their money, and keep on, and probably move towards owning their own vessel, right? So one of the big, because that was one of the weak areas that I saw, that people were not learning how to invest in what they want to live off of, or what they want to make money off of. um so there were different dynamics here. um But all in all, the aim that make we get more vessels here in Saint White, and get more vessel owners, so that we could actually create a bigger fishing business industry after this, after fishing, no.
Respect, Guillermo, you're a part of a fishing cooperative?
Yes, means we got one here, but our folks gone out and try to deal with our work, but they come back and they make up their mind that it's fishing is, well, that that are the work, like what we know for do. They gone out that this thing will come for England, but they come back and say it's better here because that we work, we know how to survive here. So yes, we are kind of cooperative, and 15 of us within women and man. And but you know how it go with the tries or revival, we're still active, but just like we got a group chat and we always put things there, and only yeah, I had the treasurer, so yeah, we still got we go there, but like we come out in the water, try breathe, yeah. Yeah.
I hear you. Uno's in communication with fishers around the country, like often or no? Guillermo and Sailor, Uno in a communication with other fishers for know what they deal with on the ground. If they hear something, Uno not hear it, but Uno need to hear it for know what Uno for do before Uno make the next move. Uno in a communication with fishers like that.
Well,
For
go
my
there, go there,
yeah.
Guillermo.
For my part, only through BFF I got communication with the rest. If was not that, I don't got no communication, yeah, like that. Yeah.
Thanks, and you, Sailor?
Well, that good thing for point out, sister. The fisherman not really, like, let's say if we have a one-on-one call and to talk, hey, boy, what's up over there? So we haven't gotten there yet, but I as again, I have to applaud organizations like BFF, who do facilitate forums for us. And then when we there at a forum, we hold a lot of discussion with other fishermen from other areas. And of course, yeah, we share a couple numbers, and there's a couple that we share ideas with. But the thing is, it's not there at that mass level, whereby the networking among us is really there. And I think your point is well taken, for us to try head towards that direction. Um, and not only that, but it's also faster strength for us to stand against things that we don't agree are being bestowed upon us by powers that be, that affect our livelihood in a negative, in a kind of negative way.
I hear you know. I'm really important in this first half hour for make with listeners, viewers, and people with the stream per line like YouTube XTV Belize, Facebook XTV Belize. Really catch on vibes. what are the experience of Belizean fishers, sisters and brothers, because we got some fair sisters, might not have as much as the brother, but we got some serious sisters with a fisher folk too. Now, this is the one Belize Bluebond Zoom awareness campaign because the government failed for counter Belizeans until we what I sign we up for. My 2 cents, Nigel, they pan out with natural resources. That's what happened. They pan it out. And remember now, Belize got a history of defaulting on loans. If then default on this one, the financial consequence, and we, the Belizean people, want to pay for this. Now, UEF has worked with the University of Antwerp and with the legal clinic. And what then do, then look on the blue bond from a human rights perspective. And then they say, because of how countries like Belize came to be under colonial status, that never about the people that were living, that about in a Belize case, that about the British and for their interests, just because of how we came to be, it was never the intention for the people to have one good quality of life. That about the Europeans, colonizers, enslavers, capitalists now. So then they say, any country we have to make sure for them priority that will pay this money back. Then the priority of other people. Then about the healthcare system, then about the education system, then about adequate housing, then about the best quality of life for everybody. And the priority is pay the money back and pay it on time. And then the amount of money they have to pay, that take away from the quality of life of Belizean people. And then this is the government responsibility. Now, I said sources were said that the government of Belize approached TNC. Remember, TNC, the conservation organization, when now they get into bag of money business for relieve countries from external debt. And when I tell you TNC got it so far, corners, they have one net vest, nature vest, like nature conservancy, and nature investment is called Nature Vest. And they have, when I tell you they got it so far outside, they got attorneys, they got bankers, they got insurance people, they got everything so. We could hear one for we leaders talk that well, most of them is so competent. So one time they start to say that it makes sense more likely than to read one script. They're not then to come up with that. So that make Belizean people not have trust in the state negotiating in the interest of Belizean people because they've never genuinely negotiate in the interest for what we that say, well, then got for we interest at heart. So here comes this Belize Blue Bond now. Then don't never tell me everything about it. And a lot of it in a technical jargon, but we not overstand. But what we get is, after morning late, George, my vet, I don't have picture, but I hear emergency. I hear had an emergency.
Yeah, morning, everybody.
Morning.
Man, Mr.
So
Ivy.
that's the Police Federation officials.
Yeah.
So-
Sorry for the lateness, but I had to go rescue my wife.
All right, I'll
Understood.
allow you that one for your wife's sake. I'll allow you. So what is very important today, and I want to give Nigel and George the mic, so that Belizean people really get a sense of why the fishers have one concern. You have the whole, you have Belize, you have the shore. I should have showed the picture. You have the what I call it, that tree thing. They have like the interior water, one other set of water, then the EEE zone. Now how you go?
Right. It's the internal seas. Sorry, it's the internal waters that runs from the atolls in. Now, not from the main reef. It's the internal waters that run from Lighthouse and Turniff westward or landward. That is the internal waters. That means that Belize has 100% jurisdiction over those seas. Belize has no obligation to allow anyone, any nation, to traverse or to exploit any resources within the internal seas. East of Turniff and east of Lighthouse Reef, we have 12 miles of territorial sea that also applies in the south, except that in the south where Belize, Guatemala, and Honduras share a common border, our territorial sea is 3 miles. We could have gone up to 6 miles, but we have gone to 3 miles. And then beyond the territorial sea is a very, very narrow zone that is the exclusive economic zone. Under the arrangement of the United Nations Law of the Sea, your exclusive economic zone should be 200, could be as much as 200 nautical miles. But the reality for us is that it's a little triangle that at its apex is about 30 miles east. So we are greatly constrained in terms of the exclusive economic zone. Sorry, I sounded like a lecture.
I sure do. Take off that shade so we can see your face though. So I sent a picture just now.
Oh,
You got eye issue?
The manga pink eye.
I sent my picture to Christy so Christy could show up on the screen what a water landscape look like. Now the reason why I want to make the water landscape, George, share with me in a non-technical terminology what 30% of the Marine Spatial Plan mean, how that done the impact the lives of fisher folks, fisher families, communities who live on the coast of Belize.
Right. Well, I had an arithmetic of where we are in terms of space, and I should mention that the sea space of Belize is greater than the land space. My recollection, and I try to find it in our book where I have here, is that everybody know that Belize has 8,867 square miles. That's the quote unquote. I think that's the mainland coast only. And all right, here we go. I have it.
Yeah,
all right, get out
to
to the
African ancestors and ancestors will make you find it.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so it's 8867. My opinion is that these are just the mainland coast. This is not the counting San Pedro. It's not counting the Keys generally. It's not counting Turnef. It's not counting Glover's Reef. And it's not counting the land out in Lighthouse Reef. Outside of that, 8867, that amounts to 22,966 square kilometers. The Belizean Sea.
I think so fast, because people like me to write it down. Say it again.
Yeah, 8867 is equivalent to 22,966 square kilometers. The Belizean sea space, when you add up the internal waters, the territorial sea, and the EEZ, is 13,986 square miles. 36,182 square kilometers. So if anybody asks you what are the sides of the Belize territorial space, you add up the land and the water, and that comes up to 22,833 square miles, or 59,148 square kilometers. So 1/3 of the sea space, just a rough arithmetic. 1/3 at 36, about 12,000 square kilometers, 3 12s 36. So the government of Belize has obligated itself to setting aside 12,000, roughly 12,000 square kilometers of sea space. That's a significant amount of sea space. My recollection is that when the Prime Minister had ventured an opinion on this, the obligation to declare additional sea space as protected areas, as MPAs, he had said that, don't worry about it, that one deep sea, that mainly deep sea, man, don't worry about. What has been happening is that the declaration of recent has actually been a fair amount of shallow water sea space. And shallow water sea space is where you have the reef and where you have mangrove systems and seagrass. And you know what those systems are? They are very, very valuable for fishermen. And so what has been happening is that the Belize marine space pie is being reduced in terms of its access to fishermen. Fishermen have less space to fish.
Wait, George, wait. You can't have them kind of wait pan we and just to talk like you to give lecture. Make I be very clear. Sailor and Guillermo, you know understand what this man to say?
Yes, I
Definitely,
understand.
definitely,
Okay.
because
Okay, this is how I learn, right? I learn
definitely,
from people who talk my language. Sailor and then Guillermo. Tell me what only just overstand Jad say. Cause I learn from repetition and I want to make sure
well,
only hear what I hear. Then when I
well,
get back to Jad. When you overstand, Sailor?
well, definitely we understand that because we live it. Most of these areas are getting smaller, because of they protect um they protect they put too much emphasis on the protection. Not get me wrong, it is good, but we have to do it, and like they say in the radio they say spatial plan, that we were going to be stakeholders and we were going to be included in this, but what worries me is that, remember, it's an ancillary agreement, which means that they could continue um revising laws or they use that as a stepping stone for when they want to revise something. And this is what I want people watch really, because that space there so that they could revise it later on. That is why they make it ancillary. So we have to look on this very seriously. We're fishing space to go out. With the run out of fishing space, with the run out with the fish, then they go deeper, and then we face with the challenge of global warming, all these things. So we're part of this. We supposed to feel that we the stakeholders in this. Where are we supposed to feel that we are being consulted? And at the end of the day, we are the ones who are out there on a daily and weekly, monthly, yearly basis. If you see any organization whatsoever when they need information from out there, the first people they come to are the fishermen.
Well, you get it
So
for two. Plus, you add thing onto it. Cause me know about the auxiliary part. My head just get tight. But we're going to make the judge on it. Guillermo, what you overstand the man just done say? What you to live out there? How that compliment what George just done say?
Yeah, well, like you said, they say only the deep water where nobody go fishing, but now that the shallow water and I leave it as space, then and that's why they understand, Sir George. So that's true what he say. Because I see it, my personal, I see it then. That's true. Yep.
George,
So,
that
sis,
the first time me hear that, George. That me a gut punch. Go ahead, brother Nigel.
just for put a little bit into perspective as well. So when we look at the seas, we're talking about our internal waters, we're talking about our territorial seas, and we're talking about EEZ. Now, if you can recall, the Fisheries Department had sent out a press release stating that our internal waters are under significant pressure. And because of that, they needed fishers to start fish deeper. And we have said categorically that we understand this, but they are not taking any step to make any adjustment to that situation. The funds that the conservation funds has been issuing out is not addressing the problem any at all. So we're finding ourselves in a dire situation, and hence the reason why the fisher folks are saying that we need to go deeper. We do not have access to finance. We do not have access to the equipments to go deeper. Space are getting smaller, so it becomes now an issue of safety because everyone is fighting for that little bit of space, and the species of fishes are no longer there because of all the addition that comes along with the shrinking of the space. So, to put a nutshell, we need to continue to advocate on behalf of our fisher folks. And we need people like Sailor, Guillermo, and the rest of our champions to come out on the forefront to say that their livelihood are being threatened significantly.
Big thanks, big thanks, brother Nigel. So only to open up my eye to more thing. Brother Guillermo and brother, what kind of fish you no see no more or you no hardly see now? Because that was another contention as far as fish stock. So we talk about the kind of fish and the size of fish. Remember, the smaller area fishers now have for fish. You have fishers from outside of the country, I believe, where they fish, and we don't have adequate enforcement. We have the state where they say now that they not only ban Belizeans who get a fishing license, the permanent residents could get fishing license now too. So we have a number of real issues what impact the lives of fisher folks and people on the coastal communities in Belize in a meaningful way. You have less fishers than you had before. So I'd ask the two fisher folk here, so tell me what kind of fish uno remember nos get on the meal, and like you just sit there fish now, you hardly sit there fish, and if you're sitting, they don't like one of the mature fish there, that the small ones you say. So talk to me, Guillermo and Sila.
Yeah.
Guillermo, you want to lead?
Yeah, but my part here is the jewfish, the Goliath grouper. It's getting less and smaller, like how you said, and it's not common again. Like 5 years ago, there was a lot, and well, I don't see it no more like that. It's like win the lotto when you catch one 20 pounds. Yeah, it's really I did see it. So I don't know about Stella. Yeah, but that's the only fish what I could say.
Well, I echo the sentiment. Definitely Jewfish are one of the prize fish there. You can't find just like that anymore. Um, I live in a area. I'm growing up in on the Placentia Peninsula, specifically seeing Bite. I have to big up my village because what people don't always seeing Bite, but they know Placentia. But we're up on the same stretch. We're up on the same stretch.
You have to pass
But
through saying bite forget that placenta if they come by road.
exactly, you know, um, and again, this not have much to do with it, but I don't like they call it not Placentia because I see in Bite. We have been here for years.
African community, African descendant, like
Def,
claim that, brother.
definitely
Black
because
people.
yeah, because back in the day, because of the sunflower and everything, they nobody want to live on the coast. We may not to live here, and now we enjoy it, and they not give away props. But I have to put that out there because I straight up. But yes, I unique. I live in a unique area because we have this the cedar front and we have the lagoon in the back, and I had the pleasure and I was privileged to fish both areas. In the lagoon, that mostly where we would have catch jewfish. Um, but now they minimal, and then now with the go with it, right now they try to get in line with other people so we could fight the lot of dredging where they happen back there because they're dredging they run the fish there now number one. Um, and I hope the forestry department, the mangrove cutting all these things, the forestry department chip into and really come in serious on property owners and real estate owners because they're the one where they do all this development. Development not bad, but yeah, they has to have, and I know that the forestry and so they have some rules towards it. But we have Krana from the lagoon side. We have sheephead from Laguna. We used to have drummer. They kind of fish they see no more. You know, and even bonefish, me rampant around here. We can't sit in there. You have to go farther now to find bonefish, or you will just jump upon one occasionally. So, if people not understand that the Placentia Peninsula area is getting harmed seriously because we don't have their species of fish anymore, and this is just on mainland, right? So, something wrong. That's why we don't have their species of fish no more, and nobody they paid attention. Um, Out in the Keys, basically, well, the species remain the same, but they they're smaller. So if we be able to get anything in a mainland, and then when they go to Keys, they're smaller. Again, that's another indication that things they get bad.
Respect, brother. We got 9 more minutes, so we got one more go round for everybody. Give their final 2 cents. This has been a rich conversation, and I really want big up the fisher folk, especially the two fisher folk we have here today for no knowledge, for no confidence, for no boldness, for talk the thing. And big up to Belize Federation of Fishers for keep advocating on behalf of fishers in Belize. So on that hand, and the fishers and they advocate for their own self. So that's why we said to the fishers, listen, we don't have to start to talk for yourself because only the people want to save the people are only the feel it. We don't have to come out and make nice and tell on the stories, and that's the way the space for. So we have another 6, what, 8, 9, 10, 11, 8 more months. So the fishers then go call it. The fishers want contact for 8 months, then go call once every month and just tell me what happened out of water. George, final thoughts, and then Nigel, and then we're going to the two fishers for final thoughts.
Right. I want to quote unquote in the language of the street, both Guillermo and Sila. And I'm saying this because it takes courage. I believe that it's highly politically charged. And you could be targeted for stepping up, even though you're stepping up to defend your own interests. I want to identify with the point made by Sila that there's an expectation that if decisions will be made in relation to your livelihood, management is saying that you should converse, you should engage the people who are being affected. That has not been the case. And I know Nigel has been following up the whole declaration of marine reserves, especially because most of the protected areas that are now being declared are marine reserve. And much of what is being declared are no-take areas. As this marine space is shrinking, there's absolutely no check. There's no limit to the amount of fishers that are given the permission to fish. And this makes for a very, very delicate situation. This makes for unsustainable fishing. And so I have to say that I feel privileged to be a part of the fight against unsustainability by the forces that are charged with protecting our marine space. So this has been a rich conversation, and we have to carry on with the mission of saving the people for the sake of the people.
Thanks, Brother George. Brother Nigel?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to both Guillermo and Sailor. These guys are very knowledgeable. They bring a lot to the table. Currently, the BFF is ensuring that both of them have their legal documents and their legal structure in place so that we can continue to give them the voice that they need to sit at the table and defend and advocate for their livelihood of themselves, their members, and their communities. So we're going to continue to build capacity within them. We're going to strengthen their association as well as other association that falls under the umbrella of the federation. And you're going to be hearing more from these guys, as well as our viewers that are paying close attention to this position that we have as it relates to the Blue Bond. These guys are going to be very instrumental moving forward in advocating for livelihood and well-being of fisher folks.
Respect. Big thanks, Nigel. I want you to forget two other number because definitely I want to talk up there and the work what and do regionally and internationally. So big respect to BFF and a link. And Guillermo, your final 2 cents?
Well, thanks to you sis and to BFF and to, well, if my grandpa would have heard that we got this Zoom meeting. I think we're gonna be in a better position now, but it's never too late. So thanks to Uno, and yeah, I could share anything, and to better off all of us, fishermen, and the whole country. We could benefit of it. Yep.
Thanks, brother. You talk Garifuna?
No, but I understand it.
You
Leave it.
understand it, but you're not talking.
Yeah. No.
I hear a big, big thanks, brother, from Barranco, deep south in the Toledo district. And
Yeah.
brother Taylor from St. Bite, give me your 2 cents.
Well, 2 cents, man. That 2 cents is a catchy phrase, but sometimes that more than 2 cents, my sister. But like I put it like this. On a serious note, BFF, Nigel, you and the crew, everybody, nice looking out, and we really appreciate this because it's always a struggle, um, to to create something beautiful and something positive, and especially in our position, um, it's good to know that we have friendly places and friendly people who you could turn to whenever you're stuck because sister, I am also a musician, and I know that a lot of time you're not appreciated in your own land, and it takes outsiders to see what you're all about and what you can do. So when you get that embracement from people, it's warmer for you. And this is just the case that you're struggling in our community for try to get it right, and because nobody now want to put in the work because again, our Sarah, we Belizeans, we lazy, we want to reap, but we don't want to work. It's good that we always have people who could sit back and help out Mr. Maivit, all on, want to keep up the good work, and we want to work together. We don't know to get things online so that we could better the lives of fishermen.
Big, big respect, brothers and the sisters were supporting her behind the scenes. For the families who make sacrifices, and I know what I know always good, so like you could go to see every single day. So our risk we're gonna go up on the water the same way. So we give thanks to the fisher folks. Um, big, big respect BFF for the organizing and being in solidarity with UEF on this year-long Belize Blue Bond awareness online community campaign. This show will repeat at 5:30 Belize time on your local channel. You could go at any time to XTV YouTube Belize or XTV Belize on Facebook page. I share the link. I want to share on because we want people hear what happened. And then I encourage individually for start to keep on folder of the work we under the door. Yes, I know BFF to do that thing, but ono have to got for ono source so that when ono the talk, ono like we got evidence. We could talk. And people need to hear respect what we bring to the table. So I really want give thanks and
What?
give thanks to Zinc Fence. Our master chief operator has been Christy Flowers. Big thanks, Christy, for coming from on Saturday and putting in the work. Until as soon as people are getting at the future, only the people want to save the people.
Respect.
All right, sis. Thanks.